Y el gobierno nos mandó a los militares, compa. Ahora sí se los cargó la verga.
There's no better way to get out with a big bang than bring the boss back. Narcos Mexico is in its third and final season, and the story has gotten bigger than ever. While you might be sad that this installation of the Narcos series will be the last, you can gush over the behind-the-scenes aspects that feature one very well-known figure of the Narcos franchise, Wagner Moura. Wagner gave the brilliant award-winning depiction of crime lord Pablo Escobar in the first 2 seasons. Now, I know you're probably wondering how he fits into Narcos Mexico narrative, seeing as his character died in Season 2 of the Colombian edition. Narcos reset with Mexico to follow the rise of Guadalajara cartel and other factions after the fall of Escobar. But Wagner is taking a more creative role in sharing it with narco fans everywhere.
De ninguna manera. Ustedes simplemente no sabían quién era su verdadero patrón.
Showrunner Carlo Bernard revealed that this season will take us into the violent and disturbing drug trade of the 90s in the absence of the prominent organized crime leaders. The actions of Narco Mexico Season 2 eventually led to the real-life drug war we have today, and to capture those elements, they sought Wagner Moura to assist in storytelling behind the scenes. Wagner took the director's chair for 2 intense episodes, which came after his directorial debut of Megahela, so he had some experience. Being part of Season 2 also added to his capability to understand the methods of storytelling amongst the narco showrunners and writers. Looking at him behind the scenes, he looks completely different. He is way less intimidating, and the air or brutal drug lord just doesn't add up to his calm demeanor. Wagner is all smiles before starting his shoot day. Wagner reflected on his Narcos journey, calling it a very important thing in his life. Narcos is very personal. I don't think I would accept an invitation to direct a show. I don't feel that I'm a director for hire. I wouldn't do it if I hadn't had a very strong connection with the show, he said. Seeing as he's started the series, it was a fitting end to see him wrap it up. I know the show, I know people in the show, and in a way it was sort of like finishing something. Because I was in the first season and now I'm in the last one. So I immediately accepted. It was like, yeah, let's do it.
Todos piensan que estamos acabados, Benjamín. El problema es que nunca les pusimos un hasta aquí.
Despite being behind the scenes, Wagner is interestingly still part of the show. You see him in it, just not in the way you expect. What's interesting is that his death scene in the second season of Narcos is the exact scene that is used in his directorial episodes. Wagner talks about the experience of re-editing his own death scene to fit his directing style. It was a little weird for me to deal with that, he said. Like I was editing myself in my own episodes. I don't know if Carlo thought about that when he asked me to direct those specific episodes. I never asked him that, but in a way, there was also a connection, right? Well, he was able to pull it off and integrate his style with Andres Baez, who directed the original death scene. Wagner's own directing style is pretty specific and only leads to the rawness of each moment he films. For example, while some directors use a lot of marking in set scenes, Wagner likes to use handheld camera work as much as possible, and he likes to follow the actors on their journeys. I think I brought to the show a feeling of the first seasons, where we were hand-holding the camera a lot more than in Narcos Mexico, he said. There was a slight change where they were doing it more classy. And I think that on my episodes, I was trying to connect my participation and bring back some of the high static of Narcos Colombia, which was very, very close to the characters and looking for them with the camera more alive than what was going on with Narcos Mexico, which is beautiful but different. It took a lot of focus and dedication to sit behind the camera, but that doesn't mean he's all work and no play. Wagner danced, laughed, and had fun with a lot of the crew and cast on set. Some of the actors praised Wagner for the relaxed and joyous atmosphere he brought on his set days, with some calling it a different way of working that made everyone feel like a family on set. Wagner's experience came after Carlo Bernard, who took over from former showrunner Newman, pitched the idea of directing to him. Carlo agrees with the actors and crew, saying that Wagner was so brilliant on set and kept an amazing attitude and presence. I pitched the season to him and he was immediately super enthusiastic, Bernard said. And he got saddled with 2 huge episodes, like 2 of the biggest set pieces we've ever done. The cast and crew loved him. All the other actors were excited to work with him. He was just terrific, such a sweet, considerate guy, and it was really nice to have him back home. That was one of the nice things about this being the final season. For the show to be able to have this long history and be able to reflect on it, it really did feel like a homecoming having him, especially as a director, and he just killed it. The 2 episodes feature extreme action and some of the the details of real-life shootout at an airport, something that Wagner says he did a lot of research on. You can see the BTS version of the crazy scene. Wagner spoke about using inspiration from the actual shooting to set up the fictional scene, saying, "Yeah, there was a lot of footage, and we used some of it actually, with the journalistic coverage, which is nice, pure Narcos style, mixing real footage with the things we shoot. In that case, there were a lot of images that we could really look at and try to replicate, but no one really knew where they were going and which parts of the airport they went to. We storyboarded everything and created a sequence of events. Part of the shootout is outside, part of it is inside the airport, and that didn't really follow the real events. What really happened is El Chapo escaped into the baggage carousel. He really did that, and I thought that that was fun to do, but it was tragic. That was tragedy because a lot of people died. That event changed a lot of things."
Qué chulas botas, ¿eh? Cállense, nos mete la cabeza. ¡Cabrón!
Much like the ending of Season 3, there was nothing tidy about this story. Showrunner Bernard sees it as an origin story that doesn't end with Narcos Mexico. There's still a very violent and painful drug war going on today, so there was no way a happy ending could be possible. But the team tried their best to give an accurate depiction of real-life events. Bernard commented on this, saying, "I saw this season as an origin story of the modern world that we live in. For me, it felt like bringing the show up to that spot where we now recognize, for better or for worse, made sense as a place to stop it. The show has been able to lift the curtains and show you how this thing began, how it evolved. Not to say the other series wouldn't be compelling going forward, but to me, stopping at the moment where we had delivered the world what we now live in today made sense, thematically and narratively. There will no doubt be a big gap when it comes to effective storytelling with the end of Narcos, but that doesn't mean the showrunners are done with strong characters and tough stories. Netflix and Narco team have announced that they will be bringing the life story of Griselda Blanco, aka the Black Widow. This Colombian drug lord became a well-known queenpin in the rise of cocaine trade in the 1980s. Though the showrunners state that they are not making a Narcos spin-off, this limited series will revisit the Colombian setting. This time, Sofia Vergara steps into the role of Griselda, fulfilling a passion project that's been on her mind for a while. Servicing as an actress and executive producer, Sofia brings to life a project that has been 8 years in the making. Griselda Blanco is a larger-than-life character whose ruthless but ingenious tactics allowed her to rule a billion-dollar empire years before many of the most notorious male kingpins we know so much about, says Sofia. "We're thrilled to have found the perfect partners in Eric Andreas and Netflix to help us bring the story of her life to the screen." Well, that gives us something to look forward to. Narcos Mexico is available for streaming on Netflix. If you're a fan of the series, then let me know which season was your favorite, and don't forget to subscribe and leave a big thumbs up to see even more videos. See you in the next one.